The Galactic Academy's orientation hall shimmered with bioluminescent panels, casting an ethereal glow across the assembled cadets. 200 young beings from across the galaxy stood in neat rows, their varied anatomies creating a tapestry of evolutionary diversity. Crystalline quarians refracted light through their transparent bodies. Gaseous Netherians floated in their containment suits. Four-armed Zentari stood at attention with military precision. And then there was Kendall. She stood near the back, trying to make herself inconspicuous, a futile effort, given that she was the only human in the entire academy. Her plain gray uniform seemed dull compared to the iridescent scales, chitinous armor, and bioluminescent patterns surrounding her. At 5'6", she felt average by Earth standards, but here she was considered compact, dense, and according to the whispers she'd overheard, disturbingly solid. The scanner hummed as it moved down the line, a floating orb of silver and blue that processed each cadet's biological data with mechanical efficiency. Kendall watched as it paused before each student, displaying their species classification, homeworld gravity, and atmospheric requirements on the holographic display above. Quarian silicon-based 04G homeworld. Class 2 civilization. Velpian carbon-based 07G homeworld. Class 3 civilization. Ken 3 methane breather 03G homeworld. Class 2 civilization. The process was routine, almost boring. Each cadet received their classification, a brief medical scan, and clearance to proceed to their assigned quarters. Some cadets from particularly delicate species received special atmospheric accommodations or gravity adjustments. Kendall shifted her weight. The floor beneath her feet made a slight creaking sound. The Velpian cadet next to her, a willowy creature with lavender skin and 3 eyes, flinched at the noise and took a small step away. She'd gotten used to these reactions. During the 3-day journey to the academy, in the transport ship's common area, she'd accidentally bumped into a table, and the Quarians nearby had scattered like she'd detonated a bomb. When she'd offered to help a struggling Netherian lift their luggage, they'd looked at her with what she could only interpret as horror. The scanner continued its methodical progress. Kendall found herself counting down 50 cadets away. 40, 30. She tried to rehearse what she'd say when asked about Earth. She'd been briefed to downplay certain aspects of human biology. Instructors at the Human Integration Program had been very clear about that. Don't mention the persistence hunting, that said. Don't bring up the fact that humans can survive injuries that would kill most species. And for God's sake, don't tell them about the time humans used to throw spears at mammoths. 20 cadets 1510. Roman Chen stood 3 positions ahead of her, the only other human in the academy and her assigned partner for the orientation program. He caught her eye and gave her a slight nod. Unlike Kendall, Roman seemed to thrive on the attention their species attracted. He was tall, 6'2", with broad shoulders and the build of someone who'd grown up in Earth's full gravity, which apparently made him look like some kind of titan to the other species. The scanner reached Roman. It paused. The usual 3-second scan stretched to 5 seconds, then 10. The holographic display flickered, struggling to process the data. Murmurs rippled through the assembled cadets. Instructors began moving closer, their various appendages twitching with concern. Finally, the display stabilized. Species: human, carbon-based, 1.0G homeworld. Class 2 civilization approaching Class 3. Origin world classification, death, biological threat assessment. Category 7. The hall fell silent. A death. In all of galactic history, only 12 planets had ever been classified as Deathworld's planets, so hostile, so unforgiving, so absolutely lethal that the fact anything evolved there at all was considered a statistical impossibility. Most species from Deathworlds never made it past simple cellular life before their planets killed them off, and humans had not only survived, they'd thrived. They'd built civilizations, developed space travel, and now stood among the galactic community. The scanner moved to Kendall. She felt every eye in the hall on her as the silver orb floated before her face. Its blue light washed over her, and she fought the urge to hold her breath. The scan took even longer this time, as if the machine was double-checking its findings, hoping it had made a mistake. Species: human, carbon-based, 1.0G homeworld. Class 2 civilization approaching Class 3. Origin world classification, death, biological threat assessment. Category 7. The whispers began immediately. There are 2 of them. I heard their planet has natural predators that could kill a Zentari warrior. Their atmosphere is 21% oxygen. That's a fire hazard waiting to happen. Did you know they evolved as persistence hunters? They literally chase prey until it dies from exhaustion. Commandant Vextol, a distinguished Aqualian whose tentacles rippled with barely contained alarm, stepped forward. His 3 vocal sacs inflated as he addressed the assembly. Cadets Kendall Reeves and Roman Chen, he said, his translator rendering his bioluminescent speech patterns into standard galactic. Please step forward. Kendall and Roman exchanged glances before moving to the front. With each step Kendall took, she noticed cadets instinctively moving back, creating a widening circle around them. She felt like a disease, a contaminant in a sterile environment. The Commandant's tentacles formed a gesture that Kendall's cultural database identified as cautious respect. "I must confess," Vextol said, his voice carrying across the silent hall, "in my 47 years of service to the Galactic Academy, I have never had the honor or the challenge of training death. Your species' admission to the Academy was a topic of considerable debate among the Council." Kendall felt her jaw tighten. Here it comes, she thought. The rejection, the fear, the inevitable segregation. But Vextol surprised her. "You represent something unprecedented," he continued. "Humanity has been dismissed by many as too dangerous, too volatile, too biologically extreme to integrate into galactic society. But standing here, I see two young beings who chose to reach beyond their world's boundaries, who seek to learn and grow alongside species vastly different from themselves. That takes courage, a quality I suspect Deathworlders possess in abundance." He turned to address the entire assembly. "The galaxy is vast and varied. Where you come from worlds of crystal and cloud, of methane seas and ammonia rain. Some of us float, some of us phase through matter, and yes, some of us come from worlds that would kill the rest of us in seconds. But here, in this academy, we are all cadets. We all share the same goal, to become officers worthy of the galactic fleet." Vextol's tentacles swept toward Kendall and Roman. "These Deathworlders are your classmates. Learn from them as they will learn from you. Because I promise you this, the universe does not care about threat assessments or comfortable gravity. Out there, in the black between stars, you may find yourself grateful to have a Deathworlder at your side." The hall remained silent for a moment longer. Then, slowly, a Zentari cadet, a warrior species known for their honor code, stepped forward and raised all four arms in salute. "I am Cathrell," she said, her mandibles clicking with determination, "and I would be honored to train alongside Earth's warriors." One by one, other cadets followed. Not all of them, some still hung back with fear in their various sensory organs, but enough to make Kendall's throat tighten with unexpected emotion. Roman leaned slightly toward her, keeping his voice low. "Not the welcome I expected." "Me either," Kendall whispered back. She looked at the sea of alien faces before her, at the beings who had chosen to stand with them despite their fear. "But maybe that's the point. We're all scared of something new." As the orientation continued and the cadets were dismissed to their quarters, Kendall caught fragments of conversation. "Did you see the muscle density reading? They're built like combat mechs. I heard they can go days without sleep when necessary. Their healing factor is off the charts. Wounds that would kill us, they just recover from." The fear was still there, she realized, but mingled with it now was something else: curiosity, respect, and perhaps even hope. The word Deathworlder had changed meaning in that moment. It wasn't just a warning anymore. It was a promise. As Kendall and Roman walked toward their assigned quarters, passing through corridors filled with the strange and wonderful diversity of galactic life, she felt the weight of representation settle on her shoulders. They weren't just two humans at an alien academy. They were ambassadors from a world that refused to give up, from a species that looked at the impossible and decided to try anyway. Behind them, the scanner continued its work, processing the remaining cadets with mechanical efficiency. But everyone in that hall would remember the moment it had paused. The moment a single word had changed everything. Deathworlder, and somewhere, on that distant blue-green planet circling an unremarkable yellow star, billions of Deathworlders went about their day, surviving another rotation on the world that had forged them into something the galaxy had never quite seen before. The species that refused to die,